Well, hello again to all the boys and girls out there in YouTube land watching Georgia Beer Reviews, back at you today with a special live examination of Evil Twin Brewing Company's Imperial Biscotti Break. Joining me, oh, forgot to mute myself. There we go. Okay. And joining me today is Michael Komaroff. Thanks for joining me, Michael.
Hello from Brooklyn.
All right, so I've never had an Evil Twin Brewing beer. You have the original. Why don't you go ahead and show the can there? You've got the original.
What it looks like, Evil Twin Biscotti Break, and what it says is Imperial Stout brewed with coffee, almond, and vanilla added.
Okay.
11.5% ABV.
Nice. And I have the Imperial Biscotti Chili Hazelnut Break, which is a slightly different variant. It is also 11.5%. It is an Imperial Stout brewed with coffee and chili with hazelnut and vanilla extracts added. So, go ahead and crack this thing open.
Okay.
Tyler Mansell.
Quick aside, John, you did very well paying only $23 for that CBS, because that was selling for $26 in my area not too long ago. So you got $3 off, which is pretty good. They don't discount that stuff ever.
Well, there's the pour.
You have a nicer head than I do. Maybe I didn't do a, I didn't do a push down pour. I just did it down the side. So I have more of a slim beige head. Yours is more. What kind of nose are you getting?
A lot of coffee up front.
I'm getting a little dark chocolate on mine.
Yeah, I'm getting some dark chocolate.
I can smell some of the vanilla in mine as well.
I'm picking up on the chili. The pepper. It's kind of like burning my nostrils a little bit.
That's a good sign. See, when you can smell what they're trying to do in the nose, now you have to hope that the taste equals it out. But when you can smell in the nose, that means that it's in the beer. If you can, if it's really.
So, yeah, dark chocolate, coffee, and a little bit of that chili pepper. I'm not really picking up on any hazelnut on the nose or any of the vanilla, but I think that's just because the coffee is so strong. It's kind of overriding some of those other notes that'll probably come through a little bit more on the palate, I
am getting the vanilla, but I'm not getting the almond. There's really no nuttiness in mine as far as the nose goes, because mine's supposed to have almond as well, and I'm not getting that, but I am getting the rest of it. But it's intensely coffee forward.
Yes, definitely coffee forward.
That's the lead taste.
And no boozy qualities on the nose.
For 11.5, you think you would smell it. I think we'll probably be able to taste it.
All right. Well, cheers. Oh, yeah.
That's one full flavored beer.
A lot of coffee. Now I'm picking up on the hazelnut. The chili pepper is definitely in there. It's got a nice little spicy note to it, which I think complements the dark chocolate notes. A lot of people buy like chocolates with pepper, chili extract in it.
Right.
It's kind of like just a good combination of flavors. You get the sweet and spicy together. I think it works really well with this. I still don't really pick up on any of the vanilla. Let me get another sip. Okay, yeah. There's a little bit of vanilla on the finish, but it's not as forward as those other flavors. It's kind of in the background.
I'm still not getting any almond in mine or any nuttiness, but I'm getting the vanilla. The vanilla's in the background in mine too, and that coffee is still pounding away as far as the lead taste.
Yeah, the coffee and the hazelnut, believe it or not, is actually coming through a lot on the palate, which is surprising and nice because hazelnut, I mean, that's one of my favorite nuts right there, the hazelnut.
And I'll tell you, the alcohol is very muted. I'm not saying you can't taste that it's a high alcohol beer, but it certainly tastes more like an 8%er than an 11.5.
Yeah, I would, if I had to guess, I'd say like between 7.5 and 8.5%. That 11, yeah, 11.5. That's getting up there. That's a pretty heavy beer.
Well, another thing they brew something called Even More Jesus, which is a beer that's different than this because it doesn't have additives in it. It's a different base beer, and they have variations on that as well. And that's 12%. And that doesn't cover the alcohol as well as this one. So maybe there's some tie-in with by adding coffee and almond and vanilla extract to the beer. Maybe that helps cover up the alcohol a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of flavor with this. It's really, really nice. Tyler is watching and says, John and Michael are live. All right. And hazelnut is a wonderful nut. Tyler likes hazelnuts. So you would like this beer, Tyler.
Definitely would.
So are you picking up any hops or anything like that? I'm not.
I'm not either. Everything has been resolved in our Wednesday beer group, according to Jay. Jay sent me some stuff on the messenger, and I still don't understand what happened. But I guess some people were upset on Wednesday. You weren't that upset.
No, we figured it out. I think just some people were getting a little off track and not letting it, but.
Maybe
anyway,
Gary was talking too much and he was doing 2 beers and he wouldn't let anybody in. But now he's angry, so he sounds like he dropped off. But if you lose somebody who's unreasonable, then you just have to, accept it, and that's it. I'm sorry because it's not. I don't think I personally offended him. It's just that he said, the whole thing was, blown out of proportion. I don't think it was any big deal. You talk about it. Don't just give up.
Some people might not just be cut out for this whole beer examination thing.
No, sometimes the personalities take over. This is supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be, I have to one up everybody.
Right. We don't need to have a timer, like a 30-second timer going every time somebody speaks, and you know what I mean? We're just having fun. As long as everybody's respectful of one another. I mean, we're just drinking beer. It's not like we're solving world crises.
What do you think, John, about the carbonation in your beer?
Very low. It's almost, the beer itself is it's not syrupy, but it's close. So whatever carbonation is present is kind of in the background because of the heavy body of the beer. I'm really not getting too much carbonation.
My beer is exactly the same. The carbonation is low, but it is there because if you look at the way the bubble stream is, it's dark, but you can still see it coming up. But it is low, and I don't know. The beer goes down very easy for something this big.
Yeah, it really does. I found the Founders CBS. I had a bottle yesterday. I actually went ahead and posted a review of it. I found that to be the same way. I mean, this is getting up there towards world class. That if you ever see this variant, I would recommend it. That chili pepper and the hazelnut are really nice additions, I think, to this beer. And the dark chocolate notes are really nice. It's very, velvety, smooth, easy sipping. I wouldn't say necessarily easy drinking because of how heavy it is with the alcohol in the body, but it's definitely delicious. And I mean, I would recommend it to anybody. And it wasn't too expensive either. I don't know what you paid for yours or what your daughter paid. But this was, I think, $4.99 for the can. No, it was $3.49 for the can.
That's a very good price. We paid less, but remember, the food co-op is just a markup thing. So I think ours was like about $2.50. But again, ours is at the cost the distributor sells it to the co-op plus 21%. So that's a very good price for that.
Right. And I'm excited to try, if I can find some of their other stuff. They have a sour beer that I'm interested in trying. I think it's called Sour Bikini.
I think I've seen that, but I've never had it. I think I've seen that. I'll have to look at the co-op to see what other stuff they have as well. Because they had, like I said, these different variants in the Even More Jesus line sometimes, not always. How has your search for the Lithuanian beers been going, or you still haven't been able to even find the lower alcohol ones?
Still haven't been able to find even the Lobster Lovers 8% one.
I don't own one at this exact point in time anyway, so I couldn't do one even if you found one. But I'm within 7 miles. I know where it is. I can just go and get it. So when you find it, you text me and I'll go get one.
Okay.
I'm gonna get one of the more devastating ones though, because as long as I can buy them, I might as well.
Right.
And I told you there's one that's 16 for an extra 20 cents. I'll probably go for it.
So we were talking a little off air before we went live about Evil Twin Brewing, and they have a brewery in Stratford, Connecticut. And this particular beer,
John, it's actually contract brewed out of by Two Roads.
Right. Yeah. It says out of Brooklyn, New York. It says
that's where the
this company actually originated in Denmark. You were talking about the brothers and
the derivation of the name Evil Twin is the guy who lives in Brooklyn. His name is Jeppy, and he is the evil twin. His twin brother runs Mikkeller, which still is in Denmark, has a brewery in San Diego, and also at Citi Field where the New York Mets play. They test some of their beers there. It's funny, I haven't been to a Met game since they opened that up. If I ever go, I'll try something there. But both Evil Twin and Mikkeller are both fine beers. I mean, both very reputable beer lines. And like you were telling me before, you looked at their website, they might have had 100 different beers. That some might be retired, but they keep brewing other ones. So,
yeah, they've got a very interesting selection of craft beer. A lot of interesting styles. Like this is very interesting. I mean, chili hazelnut with the added to the original version of this makes it different and very enjoyable. I'd like to try the one that you have, so I'll be looking for that as well. But just an excellent beer, and all of their stuff is their label design is really cool and crafty, and they have, I mean, a style. They have all different kinds of beers for all different style lovers. IPAs, the stouts, the porters, the the gozas, the sours. They've got it all.
So I'm enjoying this too.
Yeah, you thinking about a rating?
Well, it's funny. Other than, and I think we have discussed this before, the Goose Island Bourbon Stout. This has been the next group where I'm going to give this like a 96.
I was thinking like a 97 or 98. I think I'm going to go with a 97. I mean, it's pretty much a world-class beer. It's definitely up there. And the only reason it doesn't get higher is because I had the Founders CBS last night, and that
you give that 100.
That is one of, I think, 2 or 3 beers that I've ever given a perfect score. Yeah, I gave it 100. It's basically, I was doing a little research on it. It's the KBS, but it's aged in maple syrup bourbon barrels is the only difference between the 2 beers. So I gave the KBS like 100 out of 100. So this one is a version of the KBS, and it was a little sweeter because of the maple bourbon barrels. I mean, it was 100 out of 100.
Didn't you give their breakfast stout a 98 also, or 99?
The breakfast stout, I haven't actually done a review of that one. But I had it. I think I gave it like a 98. Yeah.
Because one thing you have to say about Founders, if you can get over their price point, which I think is a little bit too high personally. But again, if you're paying all that money for the variants on the Goose Island, I told you they're 23 and up. Tyler, I think, bought one. And I got to taste one, and the other tasting with my friend Doug, the orange one. I was not thrilled with the orange one, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that to you.
Oh no, we hadn't talked about that.
That's
the one that I really wanted to try because the idea of orange in a stout like that just was really intriguing to me.
Hold on for a second, John. I'll be right back.
Sure.
Hey, Marty.
So let's.
I'm fine. What's going on with you?
All right. So while Michael's gone, I'll talk a little bit more about my beer here.
Okay. What day is good for you?
Let's mute Michael. All right. There we go. Okay. So Michael shall return in a minute. So yeah, 97 out of 100 for this one. The Evil Twin Imperial Biscotti Chili Hazelnut Break. So Michael's is a little different, but we both thought they're pretty much world class. And like I was saying earlier, I'd be really interested in trying some of their other beers. Unfortunately, Evil Twin, their distribution in my area is not too great. We get maybe 3 or 4 of their beers, and then there's another location, another spot in Georgia where I used to live in Columbus, Georgia, which is right there at the Alabama state line. I mean, it's pretty much right over the border there. They have a much greater selection of these beers. And I mean, 11.5% alcohol, my goodness, you're not picking up on any of that. It is slightly warming as it goes down. And I'm sure as this beer warms a little bit, it'll become slightly boozy, but it's really not. Let me see. Let me unmute you, Michael.
I got it.
Okay.
That was a friend of mine. And I hadn't talked to him, so I had to just make sure everything was okay. I'm very happy with this beer.
Yeah, me too. 97, 98 out of 100. I mean, we both think they're excellent. Slightly different variants, but same base. So, I mean, we're getting a lot of the same notes, I think, for the most part.
I would like to try the one you're having too, because it sounds like it. I like hazelnut and chili together. It sounds like it'd be an interesting combination.
I saw one beer on their website that was like a cognac aged stout. It looked really good. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it looked really good as well. And I was saying while you were gone, there's like 3 or 4 of the Evil Twin beers around my area. But Columbus, Georgia, where I used to live, has a much wider selection of their beer. So for whatever reason, this particular area doesn't have too much of their stuff. But as you go into Atlanta, further up north into Atlanta, I think you'd probably be able to find more of their stuff too. So
I'm just looking through my book quickly as we're talking. I came across the Biscotti break again that I did a thing on it at one point, did a quick review of it. Here's one called Every Day on One Day, Give Yourself IPA. You give yourself IPA, which I liked. That was a 9% IPA. So that, like you say, you are correct. They're a full brewer in that they do all the basic styles. And I think they do really do the darker stouts very well.
Right. Have you had any of their IPAs?
I've had a few of them, and they're good. They're good. Good to very good. And I don't know if I've ever had an exceptional one. But that one that I just read you, I gave like a 93. So that's, it's up there.
Right.
The top end is hard, though, because as you get into those higher 90s, when you're making it more toward world class, it has to be special. It can't just be, your average beer. It has to be better than average.
Right. And I was saying, I guess it was yesterday, I was thinking, I've given so many beers like solid A's getting up towards world class. But, I mean, I know, there's a lot of good beers out there, and I'm buying the beers that I want to drink. So of course I'm going to buy a lot of good stuff. I'm not going out there, trying to buy the crappy stuff. I'm looking for the good stuff. So as a result, a lot of my reviews, I'm like giving 95s, 96s, 97s, because I'm drinking a lot of really incredible beer. So
what was the other beer you showed in the picture you sent me? There was another one that you had 2 of that I had not seen before.
That is Monday Night Brewing Company. They have a special line. I can't think of it right off the top of my head, but I'll show you maybe when we go off air. I'll go grab one.
But you've had those beers before. Have you had another Monday beer before?
I've had, the Monday Night Brewing. The drafty Kilt Scotch Ale. That's they make the Scotch Ale. That I did a review of that. It was 8%, I think, and it was not anywhere near as good as the Founders Dirty Bastard, but it was good. But the bottles that I got are from their special barrel aged series, kind of like the CBS, the KBS. Right. With Founders, they have the barrel aged stuff. This is their version or their barrel aged series, and one of them is maple bourbon barrel aged. The other one is an Imperial brown ale aged in bourbon barrels, and that one's like 11.2%. So some good sounding stuff. I'm excited to try it.
I've never seen this Lagunitas Mozango either. That's the first time I've seen that bottle that you had in your picture. And this other stuff, this Hero is Breakfast Hero. Who's Trim Tab? I've never heard of Trim Tab either.
Trim Tab is a brewery out of Birmingham, Alabama. And I did not think that I could get their beers, but I saw a single of that particular one on the shelf. That's also a stout. I think it's a that one's like 8.5%. So I'll be trying that one the next couple days.
Some of these beers I've never seen. I've never seen that. I've never seen the Monday one either.
Well, Monday Night Brewing is out of Atlanta, so I think they're pretty local. So I don't think they sell any of the beers up in your area. Kind of like with Trillium and Treehouse and all that. I don't get any of that stuff down here.
I would have. Eric is lucky enough to get that stuff. I would have to go to Massachusetts to get it. Nothing like the stuff in Vermont, other than Magic Hat is one that from Vermont that does distribute. All those other small Vermont companies don't, so you have to go and get those as well. Hetty Topper from Vermont, you have to get all the different. What's that called? The company that makes that, I'll think of it, but they have some really good beers too. And I have had a Treehouse beer once, and that was it. Green. But Eric is able to get one of them is right by, I think Trillium is right by his job.
Yeah. And there's actually a brewery here in the county that I live in, Coweta County. There's actually a brewery, Abide Brewery, that I would like to check out. I've had some of their beers on tap, and they're really good. So I'd be interested to do a little brewery visit and tour if they do that. I have to look it up and see if they offer tours. But small local brewery.
What county is Peachtree City in? What's your bordering county?
Fayette County.
And they have different laws. They're not dry, right? You can go
right. That's where I have to go to buy my liquor. Yeah.
Okay, because you go to a liquor store there. In Coweta County, there's no alcohol, no hard alcohol.
No hard alcohol, but beer. Yeah, beer, wine, but no hard liquor. That's why they sell the flavored wines that look and taste like liquor. I don't know if you've seen any of my older videos. Like I bought little bottles of each of the one. They have a whiskey flavored one, a vodka flavored one, and it actually tastes like the real deal. It's just like a watered down version of that. It's considered flavored wine, which is why they're legally allowed to sell it in this county.
Right, but it's kind of weird when you know what the real thing tastes like.
Oh yeah, it's strange. I would never buy it, again. But it was interesting to try and see how spot on they were with the flavors. I mean, the flavors were spot on. The bourbon one was called Hobble Creek, and it tasted like watered down bourbon whiskey. I mean, it was really quite impressive to be wine.
So I guess if you really don't care about the alcohol content, you just want the taste, as long as it makes it and it's successful, then that's fine.
Right.
But from where you are, if you can just drive 10 minutes and be in Fayette County and get what you want, I mean, you're not going to be buying stuff in Coweta County then, unless it's something that beer maybe, or, that they do have.
Right. All right. Well, Tyler was watching live. Thanks for tuning in. We'll go ahead and wrap up the live examination.
We can still talk off camera.
Yeah. We both think that Evil Twin, the Biscotti, Imperial Biscotti Break and the Imperial Biscotti Chili Hazelnut Break, both variants are excellent, and I think we would both recommend checking out their beers. So thanks for joining me, Michael, on this Sunday afternoon.
We'll see you next time.
Absolutely. So thanks everybody for watching. Hope everybody's having a great day, and until next time, everybody, cheers.